What if your doctor actually had time for you? Not rushed, not referring you out for everything. They were just available. That's what Dr. Poorvi Pfenning is building with Vital Roots. This is a direct primary care practice right here in Newnan. She serves families across Coweta and South Metro Atlanta. No insurance middleman, a flat monthly membership, and a doctor who can actually do what she was trained to do. We get into what DPC actually is and how it's different from concierge medicine. Also, what's broken in primary care right now and why, with everything happening in healthcare, this model might be exactly what our community needs. This episode is brought to you by the Legacy Media Group. You shouldn't have to be the best kept secret in your market. And with us, you won't be. You'll become the obvious choice. With our video marketing, social media management, and brand strategy packages, you'll finally have the visibility that your business deserves. And with that, let's get into my conversation with Dr. Pfenning. What exactly is direct primary care?
Yeah, great question. So direct primary care is effectively primary care reimagined. A lot of doctors who have been doing it now for some time call it healthcare the way it used to be, where you're not limited by how much you can interact with your doctor based on the insurance being in between you and your doctor. It's really replacing, removing that middleman and allowing that relationship to exist the way it really used to before healthcare conglomerates and corporate America took it over.
Yeah.
And really, to let me answer the specific question more concisely, direct primary care as a model is a flat monthly membership-based model, no insurance billed. Generally speaking, the monthly membership is very affordable because DPC docs are not trying to be concierge. They're not trying to serve the wealthiest members of the community. They really are trying to provide accessible, affordable care. And when you change the way your doctor is paid, you allow your doctor to get off of the insurance reimbursement hamster wheel. So that means that your doctor can actually be available for you when you need them because their schedule is not booked out for 3 months with 20 patients a day because that's what they need to be able to cover their overhead and make a living.
Yeah.
Chasing those insurance reimbursements.
Right. So you actually answered the question I was thinking about was that sounds a lot like a concierge doctor.
Right. So concierge medicine...
Which I'm just now learning about, actually.
Yeah. So concierge medicine, generally speaking, the distinction between concierge and direct primary care is concierge medicine tends to still bill insurance, and they charge a pretty costly membership fee. So like, for example, my average monthly cost is $75 for essential primary care, which works out to, $900 a year. Concierge medicine, usually those physicians are charging $5,000 per year, so a much steeper upfront cost. And not a lot of people can afford $5,000 a year on top of all their other living expenses, but most people can afford $75 a month.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that sounds like a really good price range for this area.
Exactly. Yeah. And now my pricing is, there's a range. It's age-based. It's $50 for younger individuals, so age 12 to 29. That being primarily most 20-year-olds who are having to pay for their own health care can't afford much more than $50 a month. I'm trying to really understand that when you're bootstrapping it as an entry-level position, if you don't have the security of your parents' health insurance plan, $50 a month is reasonable. And then also to kind of cut some parents some slack, to not have to tack on another large fee to add their 12 to 20-year-old onto their plan. And then for the middle-age group, between 30 and 59, it's $75, and 60 plus, it's $100. So average $75.
I would think too, and we'll go back and get some like origin story stuff done and talked about. But like talking about pricing, like I would think that right now, especially right now, with a lot of questions about healthcare and a lot of questions about insurance. And premiums possibly going up.
Yep.
Will they or won't they? It's like that whole debate. And it's like, I would think that this kind of model is what people need.
Yes.
And it's going to be very helpful for people.
Yes. Well, and unfortunately, I think we're going to see if those subsidies end, which it looks like they are going to, the individuals who are not employed and have been purchasing their own plans off of the exchange are really going to be priced out of those plans. And I think that this is where a lot of interest in health shares, in indemnity plans, and catastrophic like hospital coverage plans. And the reality is that if you are a member with a physician in a direct primary care practice where that physician is practicing broad scope, true family medicine like I am, 85% of your healthcare needs can be handled through that direct primary care physician. And really, you end up carrying some sort of coverage for yourself in the event that, in Atlanta, you get in a car accident, you end up at Grady in like their trauma unit, no direct primary care cash pay negotiation is going to be able to cover you there. Like you need catastrophic coverage. And that's where health share plans, hospital indemnity plans, and I'm not an insurance broker, that's not my area of expertise, but I do know quite a bit about the space. And even a HSA high deductible insurance plan paired with the DPC membership can be a beautiful solution for a lot of people, because now, as of January 1st, people will be able to start utilizing their HSA funds to pay for DPC memberships as well.
Wow.
And so, yeah, I mean, I think that, for better or for worse, me going into DPC and breaking out and doing this on my own right now, it is kind of the best time for a lot of doctors to do this and for a lot of patients to take the jump with us, because the insurance system, I think we're seeing it dissolve in front of us. Like we're really seeing it break down.
Yeah.
Which is scary, but also, with great unrest is a great opportunity as well.
100%. I completely agree.
Yeah.
And so what I'm hearing, and correct me if I'm wrong, but what I'm hearing is the perfect patient for you is somebody who does have insurance for the catastrophic.
That's right. And everyone should have that, right?
Correct.
All of us can get diagnosed with cancer. All of us can get in a traumatic accident. Everybody can have their appendix need to be removed. Those are life-threatening things that you should have coverage for. But outside of those things, really, primary care should be able to handle the vast majority of the rest of it.
Yeah.
And I mean, I know I'm eager to talk about kind of the current state of affairs in primary care in this community, because unfortunately, I think that the current existing model, people don't even think about going to their primary care, because here they're so used to their primary just referring them out for things that they don't even bother with it. And I think that in some ways is a big part of my education piece for this community is to kind of help people understand that, I really can handle quite a bit, and you really don't need those 6 specialists you have. It's not that I don't respect what specialists do, and for certain, the sign, in my opinion, of a really good family doc is one who knows exactly where their boundaries lie, because you should always know exactly when to refer. It's just here, the scope of what family docs do here is so constricted that I think it's been really hard, honestly. It's like doing such a disservice to the community that so many of the doctors here hardly do half of what they were trained to do.
Yeah. Do you think they want to?
Well, I'd like to think that every person, when they started their medical journey, started with their hearts in the right place. When they applied to medical school, I'd like to think that everyone took that Hippocratic oath and meant it. I think that what happens, and what was starting to happen to me in the corporate insurance model, was that you become really overwhelmed And in particularly a community like this one where there's not enough doctors and there's not enough primary care doctors, the need is so high and so great that and then the pressures to see patients in such a short amount of time is so strong through the corporate insurance model and not even non-corporate, private practice insurance model. I think that the pressures on doctors to do so much in so little time that in order to survive, in order to protect yourself, you start doing less and less and less just to keep your sanity.
Yeah.
Because the system that you're in fact, doesn't actually really want you to do broad scope care. In the giant corporate systems, all they want their primary care doctors doing is physicals because they reimburse and referrals because that sends them up the chain to where they can have their patients be seen and bill even more from the insurance. It's all about milking the insurance system. It's disgusting.
And they're all connected in the same hospital system too.
Generally speaking. Primary care for these giant corporate systems is seen as a referral base. It's not seen the way that I was trying to do it and the way that it's done in other parts of the country where the primary care network is extremely robust, where your patients rarely get referred into the specialist network because that primary care doc, that family doc can biopsy the skin lesion, can inject that joint, can treat that mental health condition. That's all bread and butter family medicine. The American Board of Family Medicine, we all have to pass that same exam.
Right.
And all of us possess those skills. It's just a matter of if that type of mission of broad scope care is supported or not. And it's just not.
Yeah.
Because what corporate systems are trying to do is run a profit. And they can run the strongest profit by ensuring every single primary care doctor is doing as many physicals as possible because a physical reimburses at a much higher level than an established care visit. And as many conditions that can be addressed by their specialists, they want addressed by their specialists because that's where the reimbursement is higher. It actually doesn't make them as much money if I take care of their mental health, their biopsies, their joint injections, their IUDs. It makes them less money than if they have their specialists do it. So once I started realizing that I was just bucking up against the grain, and it's not like they didn't let me do all that. I want to give credit where credit is due. They did let me do a lot of that. They did support that. But the system did not. The individuals who are in my local environment supported me doing that because they saw what great care I was providing to patients and that patients want that patients want that one-stop shop that they trust and they know. And they don't want to have to drive to the north side of Atlanta. They don't want to have to go see specialists. So they let me do that to the extent that I could in that practice. But the whole system, I just realized over and over and over again, there was countless examples where I was swimming upstream by trying to do that.
It sounds like it's a very common theme that, and from what I'm hearing, it sounds like it's like with a lot of professions and big corporations. The further you get away from boots on the ground, the more the system gets hated. It's like local doctors want to do what's best for you.
That's right.
But the further away you get from that boots on the ground, so to speak,
yes,
the more corporate it turns and the more...
Yeah.
Which, we all want to make money. We're business owners. We want to make money.
That's right.
You didn't open a nonprofit.
No.
But healthcare comes first.
And I want to be clear that I was actually making more money in that model than I ever thought was even possible in primary care.
Yeah.
So I was the most productive physician for that organization on the south side of Atlanta. I was in their top 3 to 5% in production for the entire organization throughout the Atlanta metro. If I was focused only on money, would have stayed there and rode that train for the next 10 to 15 years and probably been able to retire by age 55, if not 50.
Yeah.
The reason why I actively stepped away and out of that and into what I'm doing now is because the money was literally all that I was getting from that job. Like everything else was sacrifice. Everything else was me sacrificing the quality of my care, the ability to have energy left at the end of the day for myself and my family. Like the only thing that job had going for me was the money.
And not to sound overly dramatic, but probably sacrificing part of your soul too.
Straight up. I mean, and it turns out you can't buy your soul back because I tried. And I was like the pinnacle of wellness. So like I wasn't depressed. I was not, drinking too much or, falling into a pit of despair like so many doctors do and other professionals who carry these types of burdens, lawyers, but doctors have an insane suicide rate. I was not there. I was meditating every single day at lunch. I was exercising 3 to 5 times a week. I was eating more cleanly than I've ever eaten. I was, doing everything in my power to maintain myself, like personal wellness. And then on top of that, I was getting massages once a month. Anything that money could buy that counted as self-care, I was doing. Massages, facials, nails, hair, vacations, you name it. If money could buy it, I was doing it. And none of that was bringing back my life force. None of it.
Yeah.
Like, you can't buy that back. You just can't.
Yeah.
And I was sitting at the end of every day, exhausted in my car, in the garage, listening to my nanny, playing with my kids, occupying them until I walked in the door, and just like sitting there stealing myself, being like, okay, I got to find something else inside me to give to these beautiful kids that I've been gifted with. I need to find some energy to give to them. And generally speaking, that's all I could do. And my poor husband got like an iota after they went to bed.
Yeah.
It was miserable. It was so miserable.
I have a 2-year-old. And so I can only imagine, because we're not there yet. I own my own business. My wife travels a lot for her work. So she's out of state most weeks. We're not there yet, but I can get that feeling of how I would feel in the same way. Of what are you chasing? What are you giving up? And what are you willing to give up?
Exactly. Yeah. And I think that kids are this wonderful, for anybody who has the opportunity to become a parent, I think there's no better way to grow as a person individually.
Yeah.
Like, I'm a bit of a self-help book addict. Like I love reading psychological nonfiction, Malcolm Gladwell, you name it.
Oh, I love Malcolm Gladwell.
Yeah, I'm really into that. And I'm really into self-improvement. And I don't know about you, but my children are just mirrors of all my positive qualities and my negative qualities.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah.
No, it's all the positive is me.
Yeah.
The negative is my wife.
Yeah, right.
That is your son, honey.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that especially now that my kids are, it's kind of interesting. Like it was easier to kind of ignore this when they were younger and they didn't have their own personalities and they weren't verbal. But like now my daughter is old enough to ask me questions like, Mommy, why do you always have to work so much? And there were so many moments like that over the last year that have just stayed out of my mind, where she just came and asked me, Mommy, can you please be done working? Because, I was constantly doing the in-basket care, the asynchronous care, as they call it, where, you know, when patients are messaging you about their refills and stuff that they forgot to ask you because, you know, they had 20 minutes with you and of course they forgot to ask a few things, and, you know, still trying to uphold that standard of care that I was saying I was living up to. You know, it was a 24/7 job in some ways, and effectively concierge medicine or whatever. I remember looking at her and having to confront the answer of, I'm doing this for money. And that felt really bad. That felt really, really bad. Yeah. And it really made me sit with my definition of what success is. It forced me to confront some really like deeply subconscious almost belief systems that I kind of unearthed on this journey of growth as a parent and as a professional. And in that process, I was able to gain so much clarity about what motivates me and what should motivate me and what is really more sourced in ego and a desire for power and influence. And my meditation practice really helped clarify that as well. Mm-hmm. And I don't know that I would have achieved the level of clarity that I have around my value system, who I am, what I value, and what I want my children to embody as I raise them. I don't think I'd have that kind of clarity if I hadn't been also, you know, growing as a professional while also raising two small children.
Yeah. Do you feel like now that you opened your own practice and they see you still working, maybe not as much, maybe not as soul-sucking, but they see you building something?
Yeah.
That even though you're working a lot, you're building it and setting the example for them that, you know, we can do anything that we want to.
Well, and I think that, you know, initially my daughter in particular, so she's 5.5 and I have a 2.5-year-old son. My 2.5-year-old son really doesn't understand what's happening. But my daughter, it's clear that she does, because she's been asking some really insightful questions about, well, you know, so this is your new office. And, you know, it's so interesting. Her first question was, Mommy, are you still going to be near us at your new office? And that, God, that broke my heart, because I was like, of course, I'm doing this to be closer to you, to be more in line with you and our family, you know? And it's been so interesting to kind of explain that to her. And what's been really interesting now that my practice is, you know, opening or set to open, and really the nuts and bolts are being sorted out, I'm finding that it's going to be much more of a work-life integration.
Yeah.
Because the reality is that I really care about all these individuals. Like if you go and like read my little bio of what I've written, put out there in the world, you know, I've recognized, and we all know this, meaningful human connection is what drives true happiness and contentment, right? You don't have to go to the Dalai Lama. This has been published over and over again, right? This is not a novel concept. And so meaningful human connection is what I'm after. And that means that, like, for example, I'll be sitting in the airport with my kids on their tablet and my husband doing whatever on his tablet, and I'm sitting there doing work emails, and I'm thinking about the patient that I just saw, you know? And so I want to shoot him a little message and say, hey, how did this get sorted out for you? Did this work? Did that treatment we talked about work? And I think that what's really exciting about this model is that it really supports that level of integration that respects staying present for your family in the times where you need to remain present for them, but also respects that medicine's a bit of a calling, and it's human work that I'm doing, and it's really hard to just turn that off.
Yeah. And
the boundaries that I was trying so hard to establish between office and home and vacation and not on vacation, it was really, really artificial, because even when I was in that corporate medicine model, I was still thinking about my patients on vacation, you know? And so I think what I'm showing my children is that there's more to professional life and success than what the traditional 9-to-5 job has always that's always been there. And especially as a mother and as a woman, as more and more women enter the workplace, I think that it's really important to embrace this integration more than just hard separation, because we psychologically are never disconnected from our children. My children, let me speak for myself. My children were created by this body, exited my body, and they walk around in the world, but they are still carrying a piece of me with them and me them. And to ask mothers to artificially create a severance of that connection, I mean, it's not there. When my children are in distress, there's some sixth sense that I have that I need to call and make sure they're okay.
Yeah.
And almost always they're in distress. I mean, I know this sounds super woo-woo, but I just think that I'm super evidence-based, I promise. But I also have a respect for some things that science has not yet figured out. And I do think that as women enter the workplace, and not enter, as we start really substantially dominating the workplace, let's be real about it, over 50%, right? In primary care, over 50% of physicians coming out are women. It needs to look different. And I think this is me showing my children that this is what strong motherhood looks like, where I can still remain present for them, meet their needs, but also still pursue my professional gifts that I have.
Is that what success is to you?
Success to me.
Because that's a very tough word to answer.
Yeah, no, I've thought about this a lot. So let me first start with what I've identified success is not.
Okay.
Because I don't know that I've figured out my ironed out answer to that question.
Me neither. That's why I'm asking.
But I think
because I may steal yours.
Yeah, no, but I think that I have figured out what it's not.
Okay.
It's not making as much money as humanly possible.
And see, I thought that at first.
Same. It's not having a big fancy house and nice cars and taking extravagant vacations at the expense of your moral value systems, your life force, meaningful connection with your family and those that you encounter. It's not that. That I can tell you for sure.
Success isn't status.
It is not. Success, in my eyes, right now, what I am shooting for, and I suppose we can concisely refer to that as success, the ability to feed my family healthy food, provide them a safe, comfortable home, free from financial insecurity fears, the ability to save so that my children are able to pursue opportunity in the future so that I don't have to work till I die. Low bars, right? And I'm going to be honest, to be able to drive a middle-of-the-road luxury vehicle, I like a nice car. That's literally my one material thing. I like a nice car, but nothing crazy.
There's nothing wrong with that either.
Nothing crazy. Just a comfortable luxury vehicle. Doesn't have to be the most expensive car. In fact, I don't want it to be the most expensive car on the road because in Atlanta it'll be totaled in a heartbeat. And take a good
accurate
vacation with my family to expose my children to the world because I'm a citizen of the world. Mm-hmm. My husband and I are both immigrants, and we feel it's really important to expose our children to different cultures. And that is what I'm going for. If I have the number that equals to that, and I'm happy to share it, because I think it's really important to be transparent, and it's really not that much money.
Yeah.
Especially when my husband also works. So I'm fortunate that I have a very incredibly supportive husband who's found success in his own career, or at least financial stability. And he also doesn't make a killing, right? On the definition of investment banker type stuff, right? But like between me and him, we really don't have to have some crazy large number and not the number I was making in my previous job. And by the way, once you cross certain tax brackets in this country, it becomes like even, we don't have to go there, but
That's
it's
a
like whole nother thing.
That's part 2.
Yeah, part 2.
That's part 2.
But it really is not that much money.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that if in exchange for redefining that number, that baseline number of what it takes to maintain our quality of life, to save for retirement, to save for my children's college funds and future, if we can do that, while simultaneously, if I can serve my community and preserve that meaningful human connection, that quality of care for 500 people, which is my ideal like max panel at this practice, if I can do that and meaningfully impact 500 of my community members, I would consider that an extreme success. And so I would say right now, that's my definition.
That's amazing.
That's my definition.
I love that. We're pretty aligned on that as well. Where I'm at right now is, again, I used to think it was the nice house, the big bank account.
Yep.
You know, not really a car guy.
Yeah.
I've always wanted just a nice Tundra.
Yeah.
That's all I've cared about.
Yep.
You know,
Probably costs about the same as my car, to be quite honest. Let's be real. These trucks are expensive.
They really are. So yeah, it's like, I don't need the nice G-Wagon or
No,
like,
God, no.
I don't need
Ooh,
that.
No.
Just give me a nice Toyota Tundra.
Yeah.
And I'm good. But it's like, I went away for a week for work over the summer. And I think I told you this when we did your video. I went away and came back, and my son went with me to my coaching session with my business coach. And because my wife had to leave early for the airport, and I took him with me. All I wanted to do that day was leave that meeting and just spend the day with him. But I couldn't because I had to come to work.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, my wife had left to go out of state for her job. And that's when I decided what right now my ideas of success is to build a life, not a business. Is to build my business to where I can give my wife the option not to work if she doesn't want to. Because right now my son's 2.5. The older he gets and he's going to get more involved in things, she's not going to want to be out of town. She's going to want to be home. I mean, she wants to be home now, but it's going to be harder down the road.
Right.
Ball games, all that kind of stuff. She's going to want to go. I want to give her the option to work or not. And if I just I want to make my schedule to where I can just hang out with them all day.
Autonomy.
Yeah.
Agency.
Now, of course, he'll be at school eventually, and I won't be able to just take him out of school, but you get my point. It's like, I want the option to set my schedule and build my life, not my life or my business.
Yep.
And that's, to me, and again, I've got that number 2, right? And so we're pretty aligned on that.
I mean, I just think that, again, it's been kind of interesting to branch out as a small business owner and recognize that the autonomy is there still in my profession, and it is also in yours, right? But also the internet has allowed for so much more flexibility that I don't think if you are part of a large corporate behemoth, they really want to admit to, you know?
Right.
They don't really want to admit to the fact that it can be done easier and better. And it is possible to allow people to integrate their work and their professional and their personal lives. And, you know, don't get me wrong. I still believe in strong boundaries, and I do think that it's important to fully disconnect and unplug. But the concept of like forcing individuals to be in a physical space and chaining them to that physical space from 9 to 5, Monday through Friday, I mean, it just needs to go away. You know, it's just not realistic. And especially in a city like ours where people have to commute, you know? I'm kind of going off on a tangent, but it's just the integration piece is key, I think.
So on that, so you're talking about how we're forced to go to work and be chained to a desk or whatever, 9 to 5. We're trained in school that way.
Yeah. Yeah, it's true.
You know?
Yeah, now we're going into a completely different area.
We are.
Yeah.
Well, this was how our conversation went at your office.
Yeah.
And so that's why I thought this would be a good conversation.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's why I think homeschooling is becoming such a big thing these days.
Yeah, I mean,
one of the reasons.
Yeah, I could talk forever about this because I have small children who are entering the public school system. But yes, I agree with you. I don't want to launch into that topic.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about Vital Roots.
Yeah.
A little bit more about Vital Roots. Kind of gear back over that way.
Sure.
One thing you told me is you also deal with lifestyle medicine.
Yeah. What
is lifestyle medicine?
Yeah, great question. So I didn't know what lifestyle medicine was 3 years ago, full disclosure. So lifestyle medicine is the evidence-based Western medicine answer to the gaping holes in our existing medical training pathway as it pertains to nutrition, exercise, basic sleep intervention and maintenance, stress management, emotional health, and regulation. It's lifestyle medicine as a board certified specialty or subspecialty. The whole purpose of the organization, the American College of Lifestyle Medicine, was to try to advocate for true health restoration of the American population from the big four diseases: obesity, diabetes, hypertension, cardiac, coronary disease, hyperlipidemia. That was why it came about, was some visionary doctors realized that Western medicine was missing a big piece of what actually drives health, and it's the food you eat and how much you move or don't move and how you manage your stress or don't manage it. And they realized that the Western training system, medical school residency, barely covered it. And so you were pumping out a bunch of really smart people who were really ill-equipped to, one, know how to live healthily themselves and maintain their own health, let alone teach it to their patients and prescribe it in an evidence-based manner. And so that is exactly why I pursued formal certification in lifestyle medicine, because even though I actually have always had a heavy interest in nutrition and exercise, and, I worked in a gym, I helped set up the nutrition curriculum at my medical school at Wake Forest, but I had never had like a formal training in it. And that's really what lifestyle medicine, the board certification and training gave me, was really evidence-based, not only education for myself, but how to prescribe and help implement behavior change in my patients as it pertains to diet and lifestyle. Because so many doctors want to do this with their patients, but we're also not taught in our training a lot about how to implement health behavior change in our patients. And that's there's a big psychological piece to that. And a lot of doctors barely get any of that. I actually got quite a bit. So I'd been practicing bits and pieces of lifestyle medicine for years, but now that I'm hopefully, I just sat for the exam earlier this week, hopefully having passed it, officially certified, I really do feel extremely well equipped to actually prescribe evidence-based nutrition plans, evidence-based exercise plans, evidence-based sleep interventions, stress management interventions, emotional health, essentially culminating up the huge tenets of my practice already and giving me a deliverable, implementable model.
So my biggest experience with that is when I was working with a nutritionist, one thing that she told me that it kind of caught me off guard because it surprised me with when she said it was she told me something and I said, yeah, but my doctor, my primary care doctor said do it this way.
Yeah.
And she said, Chad, let me be honest with you. I don't know your doctor.
Yeah.
But I'm willing to bet they had one nutrition class their entire education.
Yeah. It's really sad.
And I'm like, huh. You just think that anything medical, your doctor knows it all.
Right.
Right? I mean, that's, for most people, or at least for me, that's what I thought.
Yep.
So,
as it pertains to keeping you well.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
You would think.
You would think. So when she said that, I was like, huh.
Yep.
That's interesting.
Yeah. It's non-existent in a lot of medical schools and most residencies.
I never would have guessed that.
Yeah. And it's actually it's like looked down upon in some specialties in particular that are really heavy on procedural and pharmaceutical intervention. They kind of see it as woo-woo, which is why I think it's really important to make a distinction between lifestyle medicine and, some of the other models of like holistic models of care that focus a lot more on like supplements that are not necessarily evidence-based and things like that.
Right.
That's really not what lifestyle medicine's about. Lifestyle medicine is about evidence-based nutrition, exercise, sleep, stress management intervention that you can find the studies that there are randomized controlled trials, which is considered the, gold standard of a scientific study. We have RCTs showing that, very distinct lifestyle intervention can reduce coronary artery stenosis, can a certain amount of exercise every day can help reduce symptoms of anxiety and depression as good or even possibly better than the standard of care pharmaceutical treatment.
So in your opinion, why does it seem like for every one study, there's a completely opposite side of that?
Are we talking about in nutrition?
Yes.
Okay, so this is like one of my favorite things to talk about because it's really actually not confusing. There's actually well, let me take it back. The current media presentation of nutrition is extremely confusing. But if you actually look at the vast majority of the best nutrition out there, the best nutrition studies out there, the consensus is really clear.
Okay.
Eat mostly plants, not too much. And that's about it. Like Michael Pollan's saying, what is it? Eat food. Yeah, that's what it is. Eat food, mostly plants, not too much. Meaning stay away from processed foods. Mm-hmm. Try to eat mostly plants. Limit your amount of animal products as much as possible. And try to control your portion sizes.
So is that why when I told you that I did carnivore, you kind of gave me that look?
Yes.
Okay.
Because the carnivore diet really, in my opinion, the patients for whom have had success with that diet, and actually it's not just my opinion, there's actually a study that shows this. They just presented it at the Lifestyle Medicine Conference that I attended 2 weeks ago.
The controlled trials.
Yes.
Yes.
That actually the reason for success that some people have on the carnivore diet is not that they only ate meat and that's why they're healthy now or their parameters, their labs are better, but that they stopped eating all the other crap, the ultra-processed, heavy in carbohydrates, heavy in refined sugars, heavy in chemicals, processed crap. They moved away from that. And then they started eating cleaner, and that in their mind was meat. But really, the likely improvement in their panels in their blood panels was due to the fact that they stopped eating all that other stuff. And every patient I've had who went on the carnivore diet, their LDLs went through the roof. And there's no surprise there. That's what animal protein does to your lipid panel. I don't think there's anyone who's had an improvement in their lipid panel.
You're 100% accurate.
Yeah, eating the carnivore diet. I mean, and so it's like not a mystery, right? I just think that, again, the media presentation of that diet as the solution forgets to mention where people start. And where most people start is with almost no plants, a bunch of refined processed carbohydrates and sugars, and a bunch of really low quality meat probably. So that's the other thing, is they likely upgrade the quality of their meat as well.
So you are 100% right. Like, I have nothing on that. Like, you are speaking.
I mean, and the reason I could say it with confidence is because this has been tested.
Right.
So,
like, that was me. It's like, I like the food that I could eat on a carnivore diet.
yeah, because it's meat. How
Right.
did your gut like it, though?
Well, I mean, considering what I was eating,
Right. It's better. Exactly.
It's
So
better.
it's like relative to what you were eating.
I felt better. I've lost a lot of weight.
Yeah.
I would, in my mind, I would rather do it this way. And I've always said that it wasn't a 100% from now on kind of thing.
Right.
I've always said that.
Yeah.
But it was a means to an end.
Yeah.
And it helped get the weight off because I could stick to it.
Yeah. Absolutely. Sustainability is really
I
important.
could eat this way and stick to it.
Yeah.
And so I did lose 250 pounds
That's awesome.
by doing that.
Yeah. What's your LDL though? Through the roof.
There's HIPAA and we're online. I don't know if that's important. No, so that's the one thing. And the same thing happened to me, right? All of my, like, I'm in my doctor's office because he put me on TRT
Yeah.
because my testosterone was really low. Like, it was 150
Yeah.
and the baseline is 300. So he put me on TRT.
Yeah.
And so I've been going like every 3 to 6 months to get my blood done, just to make sure that everything doesn't get crazy. And by being on carnivore, it has made all my markers in the green.
Yeah. Except
2. And
that are really mortality predicting.
well, the LDL's 1 and the hematocrit's the other.
Yeah.
But that's because of the TRT.
Yep.
Now, they're not crazy. Like, they're not off the chart crazy.
Yep.
But they are
High.
not in the green. Let's say that.
Yeah.
If you want to say they're high, they're high. Technically speaking, I guess they're high.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, you're 100% right. It's, I do think that you deal with, when it comes to nutrition and really any kind of medical advice, you deal with not only other competing physicians and their advice, but you also compete with Dr. Google.
Yep.
And Dr. TikTok. And all of these experts on TikTok and Instagram that are trying to get followers and views because they're trying to sell something. Yep. They make these strange out there claims and try to say these controversial things to create controversy and to get awareness.
Yep. Because, I mean,
that's the game in that area, right?
Yeah. It's what promotes the algorithms promote hyperbole.
Yeah.
The middle of the road nuanced conversation is not being
boring.
Promoted by the algorithms. No.
It's boring.
I mean, depending on your perspective, I don't find it boring, but
boring in the sense of
it doesn't sell.
It doesn't. I think anything medically, if you just give straight scientific advice, that's not controversial, so people won't engage to it.
That's right.
And I think politics is the same way. If you don't go extreme one way or the other and you give logical opinion, you get no engagement.
Yep.
It's the same thing.
Yep.
Right? So
Yep.
so you have to compete with, how many times do you get somebody say, yeah, but I saw this on TikTok.
I'm hoping that now that I'm in this practice where people are actively choosing me with their wallet and their time, where previously it was just their time, I'm hoping that I'm not going to come up against that as much.
Yeah.
However, it's not that I'm not willing to hear what people have heard on TikTok. It's like when you're a parent and you want your kids to bring you the questions because you want to create that safe space.
Right.
Like you want your children to ask you the sex questions, not Joe Blow on the internet, right? In the same way, I want my patients to bring their sensationalized misinformation to me for evaluation, because I actually am honored by that because they value my opinion that much, right? What gets under my skin and most doctors' skin is when patients try to contradict your advice with what they heard on the internet. That's when it doesn't feel like a very respectful or trusting relationship.
Yeah.
And that's when most doctors shut down and just say, okay, well, if you think that's what you want to do, okay, bye, right? And I would say that to anybody who's listening to this and wants to be my patient, please understand that I am willing to listen to what you have heard on TikTok. I just need it to be predicated and like the foundation of that conversation be that my medical opinion would ideally be considered more valid than what you heard on the internet.
Highly educated opinion.
Extremely educated and pretty stinking experienced at this point as well, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because you were
been doing this for a little bit.
You were one of the top doctors where you came from.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they wanted to keep you.
They did. They
But-
were very, very not happy when I said I was leaving.
Yes. We won't name drop, but yes.
Yes.
Yeah, it's so I've done that before. I've gone to my doctor and been like, hey, look, I heard this on TikTok. I just want to run it by you. Is this accurate?
Yeah.
And he'll tell me yes or no.
Yeah.
Right. So
it's reasonable.
Yeah. So it's like, don't say, so I'm doing this because I heard it on TikTok and you're wrong. Like, that's not a good way to do that.
That's right.
So just, I heard this on TikTok. Is there anything to that?
That's
and
right.
just be open to the answer.
That's right. And recognize that it's coming from someone, particularly when you're dealing with me. I'm in the world too. And I find it interesting to watch the information floating out there. I'm a millennial. I'm on the internet. I'm on social. I'm here, sitting here doing this with you, right? I'm clearly not holding myself up in some like space where I'm like avoiding hearing what's out there, right? Like I'm interested in seeing what the patterns of behavior are in our society. So, and to be quite honest, I can always predict what's going to come in the door in the next 3 months by just like perusing my social media platforms for a few minutes. Like the weighted vest things, I started readying my response because within like a month of that going on the internet, I was like, all right, here it comes. And so I like had a response ready. Carnivore diet, same thing. That was the summer. I feel like this past summer, the carnivore diet blew up. Same thing with weighted vests. I mean, you name it, any like TikTok trend, I'm paying attention. And I'm not going to, right now, I have not really gone out to like combat that misinformation because I hate social media. But, if I have to, I will.
Yeah. I think trends happen and trends catch fire because of influential people
Yeah.
start talking about it.
Yep. Yeah.
Like
Peter Attia and the 150 grams of protein. Oh my God. Yeah.
See, I like Peter Attia.
I mean, he's okay, but like his 150 grams of protein led so many of my patients to bulk and gain weight in ways that they did not mean to and not poop for like 4 days. Because no one should be eating 150 grams of protein unless they are working out 3 to 4 hours a day and trying to bulk. Like the goals of Peter Attia's dietary nutritional advice are vastly like misapplied to the average American, particularly the average like working full-time female or something.
See, I think that's the key.
Yeah.
Is people hear these influencers and these doctors like smart and very intelligent doctors
Yes.
on social media
Yes.
and YouTube that are accurate, but
Within specific context.
to the people that they're talking to.
That's right.
Like if they're talking to bodybuilders or
Yes.
like that's right.
Yes. It's correct for 3 hours of bulking.
Well, I would think medicine's not a one size fits all.
No.
So, people that give advice about medical issues and medical solutions, they're probably not wrong to a certain point.
It's just the context.
It's just the context.
And unfortunately, 6 seconds does not allow for much context.
Right.
And so if that's what the social media influencer is fighting is that 6-second scroll time, there's not going to be much context in that advice that they're giving.
Right.
Right?
So like a perfect example of it is like personal trainers on social media.
Mm-hmm.
You can't design a workout for me that's going to be for you.
Yes, correct. Anyone looking at our habitus differences can tell. Yes.
Right.
Yes.
But it's not just that, but it's the goals.
Yep.
My goal would be to lose weight and to build muscle.
Yep.
Yours might be to put on muscle.
Yep.
And not lose weight.
That's right.
And bulk.
That's right.
Not say that's what but I'm going to say.
Yes.
But so it's like they're two completely different things.
Yep.
It's not cookie cutter.
Nope.
And
there is a formula. And let's be
Yes.
clear about that. There is really good science. There's really good exercise science and really good nutrition. And I think that that's where lifestyle medicine demystifies it, right? It cuts through all that noise and just says, look, yes, if you want to do this, here's your formula. If you want to do this, here's your formula. There are formulas, but the goals and the context matter. And the how matters, right? And I think that nuance, again, nuance, that's all nuance. And it doesn't fit into 6 seconds. It doesn't fit into 140 characters. I know Twitter doesn't require that anymore, but.
Right. So my hot take on this is, are you ready? My hot take on this is, so before I moved here, I owned a gym in Rome. And it was a strength and conditioning gym for athletes. And people kept telling me to offer classes. And I wouldn't do it because I had nothing against them, but fundamentally, I didn't want to offer them because when you open up the classes, you invite a variety of people. Mm-hmm. And if you're going to structure a workout for people, a group of people, they should at least be having the same goals.
Yes. It needs to be curated.
Yes.
Yes. So I agree with that because there's this concept of group medical visits in the ethos now. And I think that they need to be curated. Like I want to do a teaching kitchen curriculum at one of the local teaching kitchens, but I'm going to curate it to busy moms who are trying to get food on the table for their picky toddlers so that'll be a group. And then another cohort, maybe patients struggling with diabetes who really want to get off of their diabetic meds and cure themselves of that, right? So there's a different dietary pattern. Patients who want to maintain their weight but maybe add muscle. Right? Patients who are specifically looking for weight loss, they don't have diabetes. Patients who are trying to specifically reduce their chance of a heart attack in the next 10 years because everyone in their family dies of heart attacks at 60. That's the kind of curation I feel like that's missing. And I'm really getting excited because that's part of the plan for me.
So now you're speaking my language because with what I do, you're niching down.
Yeah.
You're speaking to one audience.
Yes. And that can be done thoughtfully and artfully in a small group, you know?
Yes.
And in fact, there's actually evidence that supports utilizing it specifically for patients who are going through the same thing because we're a communal species, right? We benefit from that connection of knowing that others are dealing with the same challenges and helping each other address those challenges and essentially increasing the brain capacity by adding all of those people troubleshooting the same things, not just me, right? And them.
Yeah. Interesting. I'm excited for that. That's going to be good.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's part of the lifestyle medicine plan for sure.
When do you expect that to get launched?
Oh, well, I need to get profitable first and actually get my business up and running, clinic up and running. likely hire a couple people here shortly as these numbers just keep going up. But like once that like preliminary architecture is placed, I would say hopefully first cohort starting January of 26, right when like capture that New Year resolution. Like definitely not January of 25 because I'm opening January 25, right? But
No,
I would say within...
it's 26.
Oh, sorry. I'm opening January 26, but hopefully by January 27,
Okay.
I'm in.
I was like,
No.
well, that's fast.
No, excuse me. Yeah, January 26 is when I'm opening. And so hopefully by January 27, I hope to really have a lot more of that culinary medicine out there. And I have so many dreams of ways to connect with the community. We have so many great local farmers. I want to create some sort of local co-op that like my lifestyle medicine members get access to healthful, nutritious food that is supporting my local farmers. So like giving back to the community in that way and really engaging with the community where they're at and, getting out to those farmers markets. And like there's a, where you get a curated box from the farmers that I curate for my lifestyle medicine members,
Wow.
I mean, like that's the kind of stuff that I really want to do.
And so it's kind of like a referral network in a way.
I mean, so this is me kind of spitballing of like the ideas I've had, but yeah, I mean, when it comes to the community resources, yes, right? It's
not, and I don't mean that in a like a medical.
Yeah.
Go see this person. It's like, hey, I have this our own little curated.
Yes.
Thing.
And like I want to work with local farmers to create those types of like seasonal farm to table options that are curated because it's really overwhelming to go to a farmer's market and know what to get, right?
Sure.
And so, be able to support the local farmers in that way through like consistent revenue, but also support my lifestyle medicine members in navigating that in their busy lives. Because I now have autonomy and agency to go do that.
Way to tie it back.
Yeah.
Way to tie it back.
Yeah.
So what do you want Vital Roots to be known for in the community 5 years from now?
Transforming the way patients view family medicine and primary care in this community. I really want this community to understand the incredibly untapped power that lies in their primary care doctors. I also want to empower my colleagues to do what I'm doing, to take the leap, to get out of the rat race in the system and actually go back and reconnect with why they went into this in the first place.
Yeah.
And I really do. I'm on a mission to transform primary care here in Georgia. The entire state needs it. And if that can be my lasting legacy, I'm going to consider that a life well lived.
That's awesome. I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. And if I may say, just a little bit, I've got to know you over the past few weeks and talk to you. If it can be done, you're the person to do it.
Thank you.
I really do believe that.
Thank you. Yeah, it's I feel like my mind has just been blown open with the endless amount of opportunity now that I'm no longer in a box.
It's amazing how that happens.
It's invigorating is not even touching it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the last question, and then I'll let you go. But first, thank you for taking the time.
Yeah, absolutely.
This has been a lot of fun. This is what I ask everybody. And it's along those same lines. What do you want people to say about your contribution to this community 10 years from now?
I want my community members to feel really excited because they get to be a part of the first community in Georgia that was declared a Blue Zones by the Blue Zones program. I want my community members to say, yeah, we started that. We were a part of that. Dr. Pfenning showed us the way, but we together as a community supported her and were a part of that.
Yeah.
I would be really, really excited about that.
What have you seen in this community that makes you think that this can happen?
I think it's ripe because the growth is incredible here. I think it's kind of the like hidden gem of the Atlanta metro in the presence of local farmers, the access to nature, the access to the amenities of the city, right? But also a lot of investments coming in here.
Yeah.
This is a really, I think, like, I don't want to speak out of turn. I'm definitely not a Fayette, Coweta native. I grew up in Columbia County in Augusta, so I could probably speak a little bit more to the growth and trajectory of that town than I could this one. Mm-hmm. But having lived here for the, 3-4 years that I have, I've definitely seen so much growth coming. And I came, right? So there's more of me's coming here. Definitely not your traditional Coweta resident as per the historic, demographics, but more of me are moving here. And I think that, it's becoming a place that people do want to raise their families and their children rather than exit it like it used to be, I think, is what I've heard. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I think that any suburban town in America, in my opinion, that has this level of growth and investment can do this. It's here. And honestly, it's necessary.
Yeah.
It's this community is growing and outpacing its infrastructure.
Agreed.
And its healthcare infrastructure in particular. And so if I can be a part of shaping how that healthcare infrastructure develops, especially as it pertains to how primary care is accessed and implemented, I think that it's absolutely possible.
I think so too. And one of the reasons why I am honored that you took time out of your busy schedule to do this is because, I wanted to start this Local Leaders podcast to help highlight and showcase business owners and leaders in the community. And I knew enough about you to want you to do this, but hearing your vision for what you want to do and how you want to do it, that is a local leader. Not to be too cheesy, but it really is, because you're leading from the front. You want to make a change in the community, not just grow your business.
No. You
want to help change the community for the better.
Yeah.
And that's special. That's a very special thing. I can't wait to see everything that you get to do and accomplish. We need to do this again because there's so much more we could talk about.
Maybe like 6 months from now, every 6 months or so.
Yeah.
Let's see what's happened since then.
Yeah. Well, because by then so many studies would have come out and the whole scientific world would have changed. And
what, magically your LDL went down? No, yeah.
I need to start eating salads.
Plants, fiber, yes. Your body needs it.
To me, it tastes like the ground.
It's just because you haven't tasted my cooking yet. How about that? There's such good plant. There's so many great plant-based recipes out there that are delicious.
I put spinach in my shakes.
Okay, hey, that counts.
So
you're not a carnivore, you're eating spinach.
It's a start.
It's a start.
It's a start. Yeah. Baby steps.
Yes.
Dr. Pfenning, thank you so much.
Thank you.
I really, really am excited for you, and I can't wait to see what you do.
Thank you.
How can they find you?
Online, you can Google me, drpoorvipfenning.com, or you can look me up at Vital Roots. It's www.vitalrootsdpc.com.
And you are now open, because when this airs, you will be open.
I will be open.
So give her a call.
Absolutely.
Thanks, guys.